Hey there, it is 12:30 by my watch, and I am ready to do a little DIY chicks nuggets at noon for you guys. So today, what I wanted to talk to you about was some curb appeal. I know we're all crawling out of the house because the spring is here and looking at our front walks and our entryways, and now we want to paint and we want to do this and that, and I want to rip out bushes and put in a new walkway. So we sometimes have to curb ourselves from going crazy on the projects. And sometimes we need to prioritize and figure out what our budget is. So I wanted to just toss out a few ideas that we can use. Oh, hold on a second. DIY tricks, nuggets, and noon for you guys. So today, what I wanted to talk to you about was some. Pardon me, I was hearing myself on my other computer in the background, so that was quite annoying. So that is gone. What I wanted to talk to you about were some simple ideas that you can do that are inexpensive. I'm talking 25 bucks or less. And I don't mean the whole house is going to be beautiful for 25 bucks. I'm talking each project is $25 or less, and trust me, I'm the queen of a buck. If I can figure out a way to do it inexpensively, I will. So let's start with your guests pull right up to the curb. They get out. What do they see? Do you have that mailbox that is the poster child for a bad mailbox? You've got a bent pole, you've got a rusted out post, or maybe you've got an old wooden post and the paint is faded and it just looks crappy. Paint. We're talking about paint. Get some paint. If you've got metal, you can use a metal spray paint by Rust-Oleum. If it is wood, you can also use Rust-Oleum spray paint that is good for wood, wicker, and things like that. Um, Start with a fresh coat of paint on your post. It'll freshen that up. Then you want to talk about the house numbers. I recently went to somebody's house for a design appointment, and can I tell you how frustrating it was to find their home? It was 7:30 at night, it was starting to get dark, and they didn't have a house number on their mailbox, and it was so small up on the house that I couldn't even see it. And literally got out and walked up to the wrong house and realized it was the next one over. So it's important that your house numbers are visible. So you can buy the screw-on kind that are typically about $3 each. And you can also go online. There was a place called um, Atlas Homewares, and it was a really cool online store that had all of these great sticky backed house numbers and decals, but they were a nice high quality, different fonts and colors. So that was a really neat resource, and it was called Atlas Homewares. Um, so make sure you have good house numbers, not only on the mailbox or the post, but also on the house. Because in an emergency, here's the old nurse talking, you're going to find somebody needs to get to you fast, and you want to make sure that they can find your house. So make sure you have good house numbers. And let's talk about the box itself. Now, mailboxes, the typical standard issue postal office approved ones, a new one will cost you 20 bucks. You know, standard black, simple, screws right onto your post. You can invest in that, give yourself a little treat. It'll make you feel a little cleaner on the curb. If your box is in good shape, no dings and dents, but the paint is faded, get Rust-Oleum spray paint. Put down a tarp and give it a light sanding. Wipe it down with a clean rag, make sure all the dust is gone, and just give it a light coat of spray paint, and it'll look so much better than it did before. You can even change out the color. Moving on to your walkway. Make sure that your walkways are swept. I mean, this is easy stuff. Talking about free. You want to sweep your walkway. Take the hose, power wash it. If you've got rust stains, you can get out CLR. It'll get rust right off of walkways. Hose the dirt off. Get the blower, make sure the grass clippings are blown away. The other thing is when you get to the porch, get to your front entryway, go outside and take a look. What does it look like? Is it dirty? Are the cobwebs? Is the paint faded? Is the doorknob itself kind of chipped and flaking and a mess? Make a little list of what it is you'd like to see improved and prioritize. Okay, coat of paint. It is the simplest, fastest thing that you can do to give your home a really fresh new look, is change the color of your front door. Now, I am a bit of a purist in that I love a red door, and that's all I will ever have probably is a red door, because red is a traditional sign of welcome on a front door, so I like to have that. But throw on a fun pop of color. Maybe you have a stone house with black shutters. You could put a yellow, a red, even a beautiful plum colored door. Don't be afraid of putting a pop of color on the front, as long as it's warm color that keeps in tones with the rest of your house. When you're going to paint, you want to make sure that you're buying good exterior quality paint. Don't go cheap here. You only need a quart, so you don't have to buy a big gallon. So it should cost you maybe 15 bucks for a good quart of paint. And you want to make sure that you prep the door properly. First, check the humidity and temperature recommendations on the can. And these are really important factors on any paint job, in or out, is to make sure that it's not too humid. If it is too humid, you're not going to get good adhesion, and you're going to end up with puckering and then peeling later. So read the can for the recommendations, and you're going to wipe the door down. You want to take a degreaser. There's a great degreaser that I found one time at the dollar store, at Dollar Tree, and it's $1 for this bottle called Awesome. It's called Totally Awesome, and it really is great stuff for $1. So spray your door down with the degreaser, get rid of any grease and grime. Then you're going to get some light sandpaper and give it a light sanding. Then you're going to paint as instructed using a good soft brush or a foam applicator. It's your choice, but I prefer a nice soft brush. Make sure that it's clean and it's, real smooth on the edges and doesn't have dry, crusty parts, because if it does, it's not going to give you that smooth outcome. So give that door a nice coat of paint. Do it earlier in the day, not when the sun's beating on it. Make sure you're in the shade when you're doing it, and let it dry completely. Apply second coat the next day. But makes the world of difference. The next thing is to replace the hardware. Maybe you need to put on a new doorknob. That's not a $25 item, but you put that on your wish list for later. Another thing that's really important at your front door is the doormat. It really makes a difference. When somebody comes to the door and you've got this beautiful mat and it's clean and it's swept all around it, it makes a statement that you from the outside in, take care of your property. So get a new doormat. I found one at Home Goods last year, and I do think it was probably closer to $30 or $35. It was a rubber mat with the cocoa mesh insert, and it has a monogram. But even, Walmart, Target, Lowe's, Home Depot, all of them, they have plenty of doormats. So freshen it up for 20 bucks. And really take the time to just clean your front entry. Get the broom, brush away all the cobwebs from the winter. Take a hose, and not a power washer, because sometimes that's a little too much around doorways and cracks and crevices that water can leak in. So you don't want to be power washing so much, but a gentle hose with a scrubbing brush, with some dish detergent, and just clean everything up. You'll feel so much better that it is nice and clean. Then get some pots. Pots are so cheap these days in terms of the colors and the style and the variety, and you can find them. Big Lots. Big Lots is a great place. I don't know if you've got Big Lots near you, but I love it. You can find some really fun garden decor there. And go and get a few annuals, even a perennial, and just add that curb appeal to your front step. Simple, easy stuff that you can do, little time, little effort, to just give your house some little pizzazz. Obviously, we'd all love to have our home professionally landscaped, and that's not so cheap. We just got an estimate to have a couple things taken care of that are too big for me to handle, and yeah, we're like, oh, sticker shock. But think about what can you do around the house that you can do on your own for almost nothing. Do you have a small shrub that's nasty that you could borrow a reciprocating saw or even a hand saw? Or maybe you can give the neighbor a case of beer and ask him to come over and chop some stuff down with a chainsaw. But getting rid of those just kind of thinned out, dilapidated shrubberies will really go a long way at sprucing up the place. Um, so today was short and sweet. I just wanted to give you a few tips to add a little something this spring because I know my house was feeling a little unloved. So I grabbed a new trellis for my clematis plant. I grabbed some new pots and really just a good sweep up, and it makes all the difference in the world. So um, well, I hope you have a great day, and I will catch you next week. Thanks for watching DIY Hip Chicks Nuggets at Noon, and please check out the new website, DIYHipchicks.com. Thanks.